Hey everybody. So, just imagine you have a migraine and you're unable to tell anybody, and the house is noisy, and there's so much noise going on. Migraines suck, right? So imagine you have a migraine and you really just want quiet. You just want quiet. You just want, for 1 second, for everybody to shut up. But you can't tell them that. You can't open your mouth and words come out. Imagine your entire body is aching. And you're trying to tell people, and you're grabbing at their hands and you're trying to tell them that your body hurts. But you can't tell anybody. Imagine the world around you continuing to move while the words that you want to say are stuck up here and they can't come out. There's a wall there, and everything you want to say, but you have no way to say it unless a tablet says it for you. And you have to know how to navigate that tablet, right? What if you're trying to tell somebody something and you're only given a yes, a no, more, but none of those fit the description of what you're trying to say, right? Imagine that you're excited about something, that you want to share something and show somebody something, but they're too busy doing something else, so they don't see that you're trying to talk to them, but your words can't come out. This is something that a lot of SYNGAP kids struggle with, is trying to communicate, right? And everybody thinks that kiddos who have autism and kiddos who have intellectual disabilities and kiddos who have like inability to speak, that when they have meltdowns and when they have behaviors and we don't understand what those behaviors are, they're just acting out. But if you try to put duct tape over your mouth for 24 hours and communicate how you are feeling with no words, communicate what you want to say with no words, and you try and figure out how frustrating that is. So Raylan, he doesn't really have behaviors. Most of his behaviors are when you're not listening to him. I mean, he does have little kid temper tantrums, but there's a difference, right? I have temper tantrums and I'm an adult. So there's a difference of his inability to communicate his needs and him getting frustrated about it. I get frustrated when people don't listen to me and I'm able to speak. So if you can't speak and you don't have the ability to speak and people aren't listening to you, your only way of communication is getting their attention with something that's going to make them turn their heads. Throwing, pinching, screaming, headbutting, crying, putting their hand on your head. All those things. If you are unable to communicate and you're in pain and you want everybody to shut up or you want it to be quiet, but you can't say anything about that, like, what do you expect? So, when I was 14, I was hit by a drunk driver, and that's not something that's kept a secret. It's not something that I try to hide. It's something I talk about, but I don't talk about it in depth because I don't have a lot of memory of it. But I can remember this. When I was hit by the drunk driver, I was in what they call a coma stance, as I would be in and out. And I just kind of talked to my sisters about this for the first time last night. So I kind of be in and out of this coma stance. And they were talking about how it was funny that I would say that I was somewhere else and doing something else. And now that I look back on it, and because I had to do speech therapy and all kinds of stuff, so now that I look back on it, it's really frustrating because I remember people coming into my room, right? I remember people asking me questions. I remember people, doing things that I didn't want them to do, like jabbing a traction pin through my kneecap while I was completely alert. Well, I wasn't alert for them, but I was alert. Like I felt every bit of it when they shoved that traction pin through my knee. And I wanted to say to them so bad, you are hurting me. But I couldn't tell them that. Like, the words were in my head, but I couldn't tell them that. So it was like a big communication block. And that's what Raylan deals with every day. And that's what a lot of kids deal with every day, is they're trying to communicate, but they don't have the words. So when you don't have the words to tell somebody that it hurts, you get mad, you get hurt, like you mentally get hurt and you get tired. So just for 1 second, just imagine you have to go 24 hours without communication, without a way to speak to somebody, without a way to tell them how your day was, without a way to tell them that you hurt or you had a good day. The only way he can really tell us he's excited is when he laughs. And that's great. But he can't tell us what he's excited about, except for, I'm grateful for this, his tablet now. So I'm really grateful for the fact that he can use his tablet and tell me this is fun when he's playing the PlayStation. But imagine having like a tablet that you can use for communication, but you only know how to use like 3 or 4 different things on that tablet. So you can't really communicate with that either. Hi, Brianna. So I just want you to imagine like not being able to communicate your needs and how hard it is. As adults, we tend not to communicate our needs. We tend to keep that to ourselves. And we don't realize what an advantage we have to we have such an advantage because we're able to use our voices. And we choose not to. So, I challenge you to really think about your gift of communication and the different ways you fail to use it, or you use it, or you keep it inside. But just imagine not being able to, having the choice to not tell somebody and not physically not being able to are 2 different things. So I realized tonight that I kind of understand what it is when Raylan gets frustrated because he cannot communicate. And I didn't really talk about this a lot But when I was hit by the drunk driver, and I was starting to talk about this, and then I went on a little trail. But when I was hit by the drunk driver, and I was alert, but I wasn't alert, and they put this metal traction pin in my knee because my femur needed to be hung in traction because it was broken. So they needed to hang it in traction. I don't know if they still do that these days, but that's what they did back then. And I don't know if they used like a numbing needle. I think they did. I can't really remember. I just remember them. There was like these nurses around, and they were holding my knee in their hand, and I could see them take this metal pin, and they just like fished that metal pin through my kneecap, like around all my muscles and my tendons and my ligaments. They like fished this metal rod through my kneecap. And I remember that. And I was in so much pain. And I wanted to tell them I was in so much pain. And the words were in my head. And they were like, stop, stop. It hurts, it hurts. But I physically couldn't say it. Like, it wouldn't go around. It was, so after this, and I got into the rehab floor, and I went through speech therapy, and I had to relearn how to do sentence structure and get the words out. So it's not till like, I'm almost 33 years old, and now I really understand it. But when I was younger, I didn't understand like what was going on. So I was in speech therapy, and they had to help me retrieve the words that were in my brain to put my sentences together for like sentence structure and stuff. Like, they were all in there, but they were so jumbled. Like, nothing made sense. So I only had to deal with that for like a year and a half. Raylan's 7 years old and can't talk. So I just like want you to think about your gift of communication. How are you using your gift of communication? Are you using it wisely? Or are you choosing not to communicate and use all your forms of communication? Well, that's what I have tonight. So if you check out singap.fund/Raylan, singap.fund/Raylan, that is my fundraiser for Ride for Raylan. True Grit is in March. It is 100 miles MTB technical. So invite your friends to this page, share this page, and help us raise some funds for SingApp. Good night.